Hey guys, what's happening? So with us jumping back into Philip K. Johnson's 2023 Hulk series, we continue with what is essentially the next chapter, Spirits of Vengeance Part 1, which introduces a brand new Ghost Rider to the Hulk. But also through the course of this, we still have the larger issues lingering that have been building up throughout this series, like with the Eldest awakening and summoning monsters from all around the world to go after the Hulk, as well as the Hulk's recent agenda to get rid of Banner completely, amongst other things that are all kind of just cooking in the background. So let's get into it. But first, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to catch the spills every week, and don't forget to hit that bell up top to get all notifications so we can squat up in the comments for the first hour. Alright, so at this point when we come back, we continue from 1 month ago in Texas, as we're given a bit of a preview of some of the strange things that have been going on out here that initially come off as a bit cryptic or even ambiguous in relation to the story that we've seen so far, but it's done in a way where, for us as the reader, it sets us up to be introduced to some new elements as this story unfolds, because at this point when we come back, we pick up with a family amongst a number of farm workers, where in their case we're shown this kid named Leo, who's just playing around on this classic Harley. And as it turns out, Philip K. Johnson created Leo in honor of 10-year-old Isaiah Garcia, who was a victim of the 2022 Uvalde shooting, who was a huge Spider-Man fan. So that also shows in the character of Leo, which is really cool. But as Leo and his family are here, with a group of other farm workers who for the most part just move around wherever the contract work takes them, the group is suddenly attacked by a monster that has seemingly just come out of nowhere. And at first we're not really told much about what this thing is or where it came from, but we'll talk more about what exactly this thing is as we go deeper into the story. But initially, the mystery of this creature is something that kind of just comes with the territory in relation to this new age of monsters that we're getting into. So much like what we saw with Brother Deep and the Swamp Witch, just know that with time, Philip K. Johnson's gonna flesh these characters out and tie it all back to the main story. But when this monster shows up here, suddenly we see the same bike that Leo was playing with that once belonged to his Uncle Sal, a veteran from World War II, go up in flames as a bit of a tease that a Ghost Rider is nearby. And next, when we jump forward to the current day with Bruce and Charlie, who have now made their way out here from when we've seen them last in Florida, with the two of them getting around by just hitchhiking and walking, with the intention of just heading west to get away from the madness that's been happening so far. But also going into this, we're told that Bruce refused the deal that was offered to him by Betty to turn over the Hulk to the Eldest, where in return him and Betty would be able to supposedly start over and have normal lives. But at the same time, though Bruce doesn't know exactly what the Eldest wants with the Hulk, it's still pretty obvious that it's a bad deal. So he turned it down and him and Charlie are moving on. But then also in Charlie's case, she's wanted by the authorities for the murder of her father. And as it stands, she's not really sure if she killed him, because the last time that Charlie saw her dad back in issue 1, he was chasing her down in the Mustang that her grandmother gave her, which he ended up driving right into a tree. And for Charlie, all she remembers is him stumbling out of the car and coming after her, so she defended herself and let out a bit of the anger that she had built up from being abused all these years, and after that she just left him there. But the part that she doesn't know is that her father pretty much was eaten by a skinwalker after she left. So for Charlie, with her hearing on the news that her father's dead and she's wanted for his murder, just going off of what she knows, she believes that she did kill him. But right now, that's something that could still go either way. So for a moment while she's walking with Bruce, he suggests that she pulls her hood down because wearing it all the time makes her look more suspicious. And it comes to a point in their conversation where she asks Bruce if what they said on the news was true. Is it true that she killed her dad? And honestly, Bruce doesn't know because he wasn't actually there. But from what Charlie told him about her dad wrapping the car around the tree, it sounds like he was on his way out of here just because of that. And he also lets her know, just going off of the history between Charlie, her father, and her brother, it'd be hard to find someone who'd blame Charlie for what happened to her dad. But while they're out here having this conversation on the side of the highway, the same family we saw not too long ago pulls over to the side, asking Bruce and Charlie where they're heading and if they'd like to get a ride. And Bruce speaks Spanish, so he's able to fluently have a conversation with this guy, and he tells him that they're really just heading anywhere except east. So he asks how far is the next town, and this guy tells him if you're heading west, that's 30 miles to the next town, and that's too far to walk. And aside from that, he warns Bruce that they shouldn't be out here at night because there's something that comes out hunting on these roads. And at first Bruce assumes that the guy's talking about wolves or something, but the dude just tells him like nah, this ain't no wolf. So Bruce and Charlie end up taking the offer and getting a ride. But ahead of them arriving there, first we go 30 miles west to the next town, where we see a guy kissing his wife on the forehead just before he leaves. But as he walks out, he sees visions of himself killing her violently. And it doesn't just stop there, because later on he pulls up to the light, and for a moment we see the same monster from earlier in the reflection of his rearview mirror, as he then has another vision of running over this couple that's just crossing the street in front of him. And though he doesn't actually do it, all of this still seems very real to him. So as he goes on his way, he starts repeating to himself, "My mind is quiet and still. We are not the things we've done. We are not the things done to us. Our service had meaning and our lives have value." But as he goes on his way, he's struggling to even get the words out. He's mixing up saying had value with have value. He's seeing more visions, or in this case, it looks like more of a memory from what we saw earlier with the creature attacking the farm worker. And this causes him to pull to the side of the road and tell himself it's not real. Genie Dagal isn't real, as he goes on to repeat his mantras in an attempt to clear his mind and make his way to a group meeting. But before we continue, I want to take a moment and talk about this Genie Dagal creature. Because recently Philip K. Johnson took to Twitter and said a few things about this issue because it's really special to him. And he goes on to say that he took inspiration for this creature from his first Marvel story, War Devil, that was inspired by the story of a friend, an Army Ranger who had passed away. And the concept at the time was that you had this war devil who would invoke PTSD and bloodlust, as well as the concept of war on its victims, which seems to still be the case in this Hulk series, with the only difference being that now this creature has a name and a face. So that's something to just keep in mind as we continue with this story, because I'm sure it's going to play a significant role from here all the way to issue 8. But just after this, when we go back to Bruce and Charlie, we find that Leo's family is taking them back to their camp, which again, this is just where they're staying, while them and the other workers have their farming contract here. But because it's getting late, they bring Bruce and Charlie here with plans to drive them into town in the morning. But when they do, Bruce makes the suggestion that he sleeps outside of the camp. And again, this guy's like, "Hey, I told you, it's not safe out there." But of course, as we know, Bruce is doing this for the sake of their protection, because in the event that he hulks out, he wants to make sure that they're at a safe distance. And for a moment here, we see the other kids asking Charlie to play football with them, but as soon as she sees the antique Harley, her attention is completely focused on the bike. So she goes over to check it out, and it's here where she meets Leo, who lets her know that it belongs to his Uncle Sal, but it's also his at the same time. So Charlie asks Leo about Uncle Sal, and he tells her that Uncle Sal rides this bike when the monsters come. He's like an angel, except mean. And Charlie just tells her that she likes that. And she knows an angel like that too. And right now with Bruce, who didn't go too far away outside of the camp, because he's still within view of Charlie and the other kids, but as he's out here, he's approached by an elderly woman who tells him that she's come to bring him some food. But all of a sudden, Banner starts hearing the Hulk telling him to get away from here and that he should take off running, because all of this kindness from strangers and watching kids play and taking a moment to catch his breath, all of that's over for him. Which again, just goes back to the whole thing with the Hulk taking over Banner. But as Charlie's checking out Uncle Sal's bike and talking to Leo, she asks Leo what did he mean before when he said when the monsters come, and he tells her a big for real monster came. It took David away, but Uncle Sal heard it. Now whenever it comes, Sal scares it away as the bike suddenly just shoots up in flames, and Leo tells Charlie that he's coming. Sal only comes when something bad is close, when monsters are close. So right away Charlie looks to Banner, only to find his clothes laid out where he was at. Cause right now Bruce is taking heed to the Hulk's warning, and he's running away from the camp at full speed as he begins yet another one of his violent hulked out transformations. And while this is happening, I do want to point out that I've noticed a bit of mixed reception, with some people not digging the crazy violent transformation because perhaps they prefer to see Banner just grow larger and turn green. And I'm not here to say that there's any right or wrong preference to it. People like what they like, and that's fine. But I also want to add that for me, in a story like this, I'm digging it, because it almost seems like the Hulk is giving Banner the most painful transformation possible. Because if that's the case, it lines up with the idea of how much the Hulk hates Banner right now. Because it's also one of those things where, you know, we've seen Banner Hulk out in gruesome ways before. But in this case, where it really fits to what's going on in the story, in the Banner versus Hulk dynamic that's going on right now, to me it just makes sense that the transformation would be violent. Because not only is the Hulk just coming out when he wants to, but he's also sending Banner a message where he's letting Banner know that if he has his way, one of these days, Banner's not coming back. So yeah, those are my thoughts on it given what we've been shown, and I'm curious to know what you guys think about it down in the comments, either if you agree or disagree, because again, there's no wrong answer. You either like it or you don't, or you might be somebody who feels neither way about it and you really just don't care. Either way, just let me know in the comments because I'm curious to see what more of you guys think. But right now, with the Hulk out, he turns around and he sees the Rider racing towards him and speeding up rather than slowing down as he releases a barrage of Hellfire bullets only to then drive up the side of Hulk's face. And right here, this is the Hulk's introduction to Ghost Rider 44, whose origin we have yet to see, but I assume since he's a World War II veteran that the 44 stands for 1944, which I assume is the year that he became a Ghost Rider, though again, we haven't been given that story just yet. But right away the Hulk tells him that he's no Ghost Rider that he's ever seen before, and all Rider 44 tells him is that he's here looking out for the kid, and that the Hulk should say his prayers, cause he's sleeping in hell tonight. And so now real quick, I want to give a special shout out to all the patrons. Thank you guys for all of your support. And for anyone who's new here, who wants more information on how to support the channel, I got a link below where you can go to patreon.com/Dopespill. But that'll do it for this one, guys. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and we'll do it again on the next one. Alright, later.